Ladies and gentlemen, this entry will be called Duck. Here's what Duck is about. Duck is about the weaponizing of affections. Duck is about the weaponizing of affections. You understand what I'm saying? And the weaponizing of affections is this. Listen, I don't judge anyone for what they do, for the most part, if it doesn't violate the well-being of another individual. But pertaining to business and trade, economics, and circumstances and oppressions that individuals is oppressed in, you must understand that this economic structure is broken on purpose for the black market to pimp out the public. You only got one circumstance, and that's to bow down. And in that, it's a dog star and a dog eat dog world and a pecking order based upon Jim Crowe. Black or white is undiscriminated. That if you want resources and you don't have funds, and that is manufactured that you don't have it, or you can't get a job, that you got to bend over and touch your ankles. And in such manner, these perverse men are perverse with unnatural affections, not according to what they do, but why they do those things. It's to turn out the public. And then they want to front and act like they straight, man, and they alpha. They got terms for being straight. Think about it. They're totally exposed. Caring about with their wives, and their wives, as long as they're paid, they're succubus, they keep their secrets, knowing they're the greatest faggots of them all. Doing these things not by affections because they care or anything sexual based upon having a good time. These are things that they hate. Not in such what they do. These things are depravity and the void in their soul. But because they can't feel and they don't have a heart or capacity, each time they do things, they destroy someone at the hips. People start walking with a limp just in order to get food to eat or placed on their table, or they have resources to sell. This is the things all these people out here are brain dead. They got some STD that's destroyed and obliterated their mind, and it's obliterating their body. These are zombies walking about. And the dead at the top want you to die at the bottom, and they need your life, so they need to draw your energy, okay? Those with good hearts. Where does that come from? The kids. You've seen the movie like Dark Tower and all this other shit. Because they don't have any so-called life force of their own. So they have to suck it out of the public, and they paint themselves to be positive public figures while raping the children and society fresh out of high school, but not really, because they really pedophiles. They got to get that. And once they take that, because when they doink them in the booty hole, then it knocks out their soul. For the reasons why they do it, it's not the same as the individual. You see, they do sex magic. The other individual is oppressed for resources. This isn't about an individual having sex. This is about hate, because that individual is self-aware that they're dead. Their body is rotting and decomposing. They have the money to look alive. We all know that they're not. And nothing they do is awesome. These individuals, when they do that, they break the soul of an individual. They get these dark rings around their eyes and so on and so forth. In process of time, of having to put food on the table for their children or whoever. You understand what I'm saying? So when you talk about like the God of Egypt, and according to knowledge, and this knowledge is wicked knowledge or evil knowledge, you see, you don't find out the secret until after you spiritually die. And you're living in a void. And your body and mind is ripped apart. And now you live for money because you departed from God. And any truth that there is, and you're around a bunch of vipers that never speak truth. So if your head is filled with lies, that leaves you in disassociation and distortion to be mind control. And this is what you got to do to get ahead in this world. And this is what the God of the Bible talked about. The God of the Bible was talking about, they will do these things to you, and this will cause you to spiritually die. And now you're alive by a parasite that's inside of your brain, that is a vampire and vamps energy. But in order for that individual to live, okay, that parasite to live, in order for that parasite to live that way, they have to sodomize you to break your mind. They call it buck broken, I guess. To break your mind, this is Jim Crowe shit. And then to break your body as well. So you can't make money with your body. This turns an individual angry and violent. And like I said, you have that seed inside of you named Ray. And Ray, you would think is the god of Egypt, and I suppose he is, but really, here is the situation. He's not the one that causes evil. It's what individuals do to Ray. If you're pre-born and not even a baby, a cherry over time, that seed in the middle, right? And already you have spiritual or psychological trauma of being raped and the 4D structure of the kid that is unborn that's going to come out. Then imagine the mental disorders and afflictions that perpetuate. And each year, these individuals have to stay younger before they set with oppressive problems that are psychological, hearing voices and hallucinations that cause them to lose their mind, so they stay trapped in them dark spaces, surviving in thick darkness, with no one to call on, in a world full of lies, outside of knowledge, not knowing the truth. This knowledge is evil knowledge, and people do what they know. Understand? And this creates everlasting chains of darkness from generation to generation. And in order to break that spiritual curse, someone has to stop and not engage in such practices that the world engages in. But how do they do that? And the fact of the matter is this. You have to make a lot of sacrifices of things that you want and a lot of sacrifices of things that you need. And you have to define that living this way isn't a way of living at all. It would be better to leave this world than for this thing to happen and for you to sell your kids unto the fire over and over and over again. Why have black slaves when you could have white ones? You know what they found in the 90s amongst white people? White boys were a lot easier to control. They were a lot more agreeable than black men. Black men will put you dead to rights. White dudes, okay, not all of them, but a lot of them, for the most part, that come from the suburbs and things like that, they, you know, and I'm not calling them, they were a bit softer. They were easier to control. So you got a lot of these baby face niggas, you know what I'm saying, in these CEO positions and shit like that. And they got these pretty wives that they don't appreciate and they just waste it. And they're both parasites. The pussy isn't good enough. They always got to go in the back door, okay, and completely obliterate it. And when they buck it, it throws the girl's hip out or the dude's hip out. So these individuals both hate sex. So then it's all about the money. You know what I'm saying? Everything they live for is a fucking dollar. They're all tricks. And all these tricks are trying to front like they're pimps. And they're all trying to front like they're alive. And they all know the secret that they're not. So when you come around, it's not about that they hate you based on superficial reasons that they try to construct in the world as being real, such as racism. It's us and them pertaining to the living and the dead. This has never changed since the Garden of Eden. All right? These individuals are different creatures and they fill up the church pews. And when they see that you are not as one of them, they feel ashamed and judged by that light that's coming off of you. And the words you speak trouble them. And when they're unable to figure you out because they're dead, then they will seek to turn you in. I speak these things and niggas drive everywhere around this neighborhood where they usually stay in their houses. This is the hive mind. They can't control it. A lot of them drive around when I'm walking in the street acting like they want to do something from their car. Not knowing I'll run up on a car head on. And it startles them. They only act tough. We live in a world where P. Diddy assaulted Cassie, and that is bigger news than the war over in Israel. Meanwhile, niggas in the street talking about DP, which stands for double penetration, and they're talking about it and coined it as a term for knocking niggas out. You mean to tell me they worried about P. Diddy, but they listen to street rap? What P. Diddy did to Cassie? And this is greater than the war of Israel and Gaza? Have mercy. Have mercy. These niggas is soft. Don't believe a single one. In fact, I would say the bigger they are, the weaker they are in most cases. These bitches ain't got no heart. You could know how to fight all day, but if you ain't got no fucking heart, right? And then you're gonna use that side, and you could look at the psychology of a coward to use their size as an advantage to fight individuals that don't know how to fight, or something like that, where the odds where they'll definitely win, right? To throw an extremity that they're tough. These are the scariest niggas on the planet. They are fake as fuck. But because niggas' minds is gone, they don't know psychology. They believe anything to see. These niggas is Girl Scout cookies. 1000%. I post this shit on the internet. I know what you did to get what you got. Don't you ever step to me fronting with holes in my pants. You understand what I'm saying? I'm standing there like Goku. You ain't built like a lion. I can see it from the outside. You have all this bravado, but your eyes look soft to me. I came up in the suburbs. There's no way around it. I've seen it a million times. And these are the type of dudes that girls like, and they like them for their resources. And if they like them for their resources and they get trapped in too long, then they get that strange fire that they talk about in the Bible, and their energy is weird and greasy and slimy. Then they get around a real nigga like, oh, I ain't never had a man before. And I'm like, gosh damn, is that a leech? With this weird energy? You know, back in the day in Africa, like in Ethiopia and shit, people used to walk around, you could feel their energy coming off of them. You could just look at somebody and you would convey an entire communication just by the way you look at somebody. Nowadays, people so dead, you can't be articulate and explain anything to them because they're paid to be dumb and they're paid to be retrobate. And anytime an individual doesn't understand something plain that you say, it's not because they're incompetent, it's because they're liars. And they have sin riddled all through their life, so there is nothing that they can talk about. With my mother and sister, I can't even talk about the fucking weather. Everything is so taboo. Every conversation they're afraid of. And they got presidents that worry over conspiracy theorists? Stop. You exposed. So this is what it is. You know, the duck is the pecking order, which is Jim Crowe that's been around for a long time. And what that is for, it's for the sodomization and rape of your unborn child, which is the inner man or the center of your mind, which is written in the Bible, the so-called sixth God. And that baby Roman is actually a victim, okay, with individuals, all right, with all the energies, because he feels energies of hate, so on and so forth. And if you don't guard your seed or guard your heart, like it says in scripture, right, you're passing on terrible, horrible things to your children. But the more this happens to you, the more selfish you get because you die inside. And babies, when they are born, not only do they not have gender roles until about like in human development, the age of 5 or 6, right? That child is going to be angry because it's been exposed to perpetual abuse before it was born, even though it came in a good family. So this is why you got all these white kids with all these fucking mental problems, and they're weird as fuck. And they're fucking, these females are weird as fuck because their parents is weird as fuck. And they all got this weird ass energy and shit. They're gonna fucking hate you. They're gonna hate you, black man, but not because you're black. Because you're fucking God. That's why they're gonna hate you. But not every black man is God. Let me tell you this. I stand alone. Ain't no niggas backing me up. You know what I'm saying? And you got Black Lives Matter and all these, you're all exposed. The woke era, all of this. And this shit happens to me. You niggas is done also. Even more so than the others. There are some people that look out for me, and I believe some of these individuals are white, and some of these individuals are black. So I look at it like this. Some niggas is alive, and some niggas is dead. But most of you niggas is dead. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to know about God, if you want to know the truth, Jesus Christ died for your sins. I'll fucking take your head off. Peace and blessings be with you.